So, hey guys, it is so awesome to see so many of you already in the room and to be chatting with so many of you leading up to this live show. And if you follow me on Twitter, then you probably saw me last night pretty much ranting about the episode. And I have a lot of things that I want to talk to you about tonight. And I also have a lot of thoughts about Emily's secret. Um, I think it's something different than what they're leading us to believe. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But I want to see like what you guys are thinking. I want to say hey to a lot of you because there's so many people here. So hey to Olivia, Reagan, Francois, Stephanie, Deja, Marge, Amanda, and I know more of you are here. Mark, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another Kellie TV PLL live chat. Okay, well, first of all, I guess I'll just start off with telling you my biggest issue with the episode last night, because you probably know by now that I was not loving it, the opposite of McDonald's commercials, at least in the US, not loving it, because we've already been down this road with Ezra is the bad guy. So we've already been down the Ezra is a road. And I was a big fan of that whole theory. And I love those episodes, to be honest. But then all of that was just a big trick. And here we are again, doing the same exact thing and, including Arya. And I think a lot of the time they just throw out there whatever they think fans want to see, but then it's never going to happen. So you have to know that that is not true at all, that Ezra and Arya didn't kill Charlotte. There were probably no more villains now than they were 5 years ago. So it's very annoying to me that we're doing this again with the same person. I just think it's kind of insulting to the intelligence of fans, because why are we throwing out the same storyline again, basically? Why are we, why do they have to keep trying to trick us? And it just really, really, really upsets me. Like, I don't like it at all. So I want to see what you guys think about that. Maybe some of you think that Ezra and Arya are actually the murderers of Charlotte. I do think there's something going on, obviously, because they're acting weird, but I think it's going to be something that they can explain. And when they do, people are going to be like, okay, that makes sense. And they're not the people who did this. I feel like the person who probably killed Charlotte is going to be really lame, but if it's not, that would make me happy. So Teens Can Vlog is saying that Mona seems suspicious. I definitely could see her being the person who killed Charlotte. I think that's super lame, but I could definitely see that because I feel like they'll always pick the easiest way out, and I can definitely see that happening. Marge is saying Sasha told it, so why Marlene is going down that road again. I don't know what I'm missing there. I'm missing what you're saying. If you can kind of explain that to me. And I know you're saying you don't want a twin theory. I don't want that either. Francois is saying that Ezra is innocent. Possible that Arya, as the fans wanted to be a liar, to be A, so maybe Marlene will do it this time. I really don't think so. If I'm wrong, then that would make me happy. So, like, I want to be wrong, but I think someone really ridiculous will end up being the villain. And I mean, Mona wouldn't necessarily be ridiculous, but I think it's kind of the easy way out if that's who it is. Noodles is saying they confirmed a twin. Well, they've definitely hinted at it for a long time. I don't know if that would be very compelling or not. I don't know what that has to do with everything. I guess I've read that a lot of people are going to end up being related. And there's going to be more people that are tied into like Allie's family and stuff as the rest of the show unfolds, but I don't know. Brandy says, hate that Marlene is trying to make us think Ezra is the villain. It's been done for way too long and obviously isn't true. It's dragging on and taking up space for a possible storyline. I think one of the things this show does, as we all know, because I know we've watched the show for quite a while, at least most of us have, is that it drags on forever and ever and ever. There's all kinds of storylines that start and never finish. There's characters we meet who disappear and there's no explanation. So I definitely think, and I tweeted this last night, and I have said this before, but I think the show should have definitely ended with the A reveal, whether that would have been Cece or someone that we all loved or whatever. I always thought that was their end game, honestly, for PLL, was that the entire series ends with what they've been stringing us along with for years. And once we know who A is, do we really care anymore? And if you're going to say, well, she's just telling us that Cece is A because then someone really awesome is going to be the real villain. Well, why? Why do we need to waste more time? Why don't you just make your best person A and end it? I think the 5-year forward is, not I don't understand what we're doing here. I'm not compelled by it. We have all these new guys coming into the picture who I don't care about yet. And I just really feel like it should have ended a few months ago. That is just how I feel. Let's see. So Teens Can Vlog says maybe one of the liars died the night Allison went missing and their long lost twin replaced them. That's kind of a far-fetched theory, but with this show, who knows. So Tony feels like the girls killed Charlotte just by going off of the season 6B promo picture with all the girls carrying the casket. Maybe a play off of How to Get Away with Murder season 1. Well, I mean, I would like that idea. That's not a bad idea. I would think that was way better than Mona or someone random or someone with a small role or Sarah Harvey being the one who did it. Relia says that Ezra probably saw what happened and was keeping it a secret from the person who actually did it. Yeah, I know a lot of people think that he may know and that could totally be true, that he may know what exactly happened. Teens Can Vlog, that's okay that you have to go. Thanks for being here for a little bit. I appreciate it. Hi, Kay Marie, how are you? So Francois says, feels like this new season will be to give the fans a better ending than the CC reveal. I'm hoping they give us a good villain this time around. But what I would say to that is, why don't you do it right the first time? Why do we need extra seasons? If they felt completely sure that CC was the best person to be A, they wouldn't need to do other seasons to have a better villain. So either they think what they did sucked a few months ago, or they're putting out more crap. And I think that they think the CC reveal was awesome because that's what they said in their interviews. So, why would you have to, reveal a villain and be like, oh, wait, but this isn't the real villain because we screwed that up, so let's do more. I really don't think they care that a lot of the fans were upset, to be honest. Mark thinks that Uber A and Charlotte's murderer are two different people, guessing that Uber A is related to her and is blaming her death on the liars. And that's the awesome, insane motive. It definitely could be that Uber A is another relative of someone, and Uber A could be someone we don't even know. Let's just be real here. There could be another sibling of Allie's. There could be cousins or something. I don't know. So Marge says, Sasha said that the new big villain will be a new character. There we go. Okay, so I hadn't heard that. Don't understand why Marlene is trying to make us believe that it'll be a main character, because that's what she does. Every season there has been someone, whether it be Mona or Toby or Ezra in the past, that she's tried to make us think is A, just because she knows that kind of draws people in. And I don't have any problem with a show making people look like suspects. Don't get me wrong, because shows can do that in a very smart way. But the way that Pretty Little Liars is doing it, and the fact that they're doing it with someone, again, that they've already used, I think is really sloppy, just being honest. It bothers me that our Uber A could be someone we don't even know, because I don't know if that's going to end up being true, because people from the show will say things in interviews and then that never comes true. So who knows? But, how much would you care? How can we care about this villain if we've never met them? And I don't care if it's Allie's twin, which is a possibility since she had one in the books, or if it's, who knows? I just don't know how we can care about a villain who we've never even met. I'm so confused with that. Number one, Allie, I do not know who Uber A is at this point. I can't. You guys are going to hate me, but I'm really struggling with this show, and I just don't care at this point who it is, because especially if it's someone we don't know, how can we even predict, Kay Marie feels like they're doing season 1 all over again, except it's not Allison, it's her sister. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Olivia says people are saying Marlene confirmed this and Sasha said that, but remember, Marlene confirmed that A was not transgender. Well, that's a good point, Olivia. And like I just said, people do interviews, and a lot of times, sometimes people report that Sasha talked to them and said something that maybe that person got it wrong. You know what I mean? Like the reporter didn't even quote the person right. Okay, but I know sometimes they go to their actual Twitter accounts and say things, especially Marlene, and then it doesn't come true. So, I don't know. Number one, Allie, Uber A, Big Bad. I don't know what this new villain is called, because I thought that CC was A, but I don't know what Marlene is calling CC these days. Honestly, I unfollowed her on Twitter. a few months ago. So Emily is a good person to focus on, at least for me, from this episode, because I felt most compelled by her storyline rather than anything else that was going on. Mark says that he felt terrible when Emily said she was going to take a shower. Actually, you're making a joke here. Yes, she's been infected by Sarah. But let's talk about Emily for just a little bit. You know, I think the show wanted us to believe, and I did believe for a little bit, that she had cancer, but I don't really know. It didn't seem to fit with the kind of things that people go through when they are dealing with cancer. And in the books, Emily is pregnant. Now, to me, I started thinking when she found out her bank account was depleted, I was wondering if she's actually paying for these treatments and she's not having insurance cover them. So I'm wondering if she could possibly be trying to get pregnant. I don't know. I mean, that's super far-fetched, but I was thinking she's getting maybe fertility treatments because the nurse mentioned like she needed to be stress-free. And I know for people who are trying to get pregnant and going through that type of treatment, they need to have no stresses. No one did say that she had cancer, but the girl in the brew or whatever that place is said, you know, I used to have cancer, or I know what it's like. So yeah, I think a lot of people on Twitter were saying she had cancer, but no one on the show came out and said she had cancer. But she's getting treatments for something, and we know that she's out of money. And I just felt really bad for Emily in so many ways, because at the end of the show, we find out that she has flunked out of school. She's lost her scholarship. And I don't know why everything's going so bad for her. And I just can hope that she will have the best turnaround, and hopefully by the end of the series, you know, her life will be in better shape and she'll be doing so much better. I don't know. Yeah, Francois, Emily did say infectious disease to Hannah. I do remember that conversation. So, you know, I don't know. I have no idea, because honestly, the fact that she would be trying to get pregnant, and especially someone who's really young, I don't know. That seems way out there. So maybe it's not. I don't know. Don't say that, you know, where we can't count on it, because I really have no idea what's going on. Terrence, thank you for being here, and that's fine that you are late. That's no problem. Okay, yeah. So Ralia is mentioning the end of the episode when someone's leaving flowers on Charlotte's grave, and the person who drove them there is saying it sounded like they said, "Sir, I'm sorry for your loss." I guess this is the new villain. That's all I can assume. I'm pretty sure he did say sir. At first I thought he said Sarah, but I've watched it a couple of times, and obviously I don't think they would be that blatant and call out Sarah if it was Sarah and not show her face. So yeah, that's a good point that Janice and Reagan, I guess, have here, that there was another person in the dollhouse. Probably. I mean, I think that's a really good point, because, you know, it was such an elaborate designed place, and it would be kind of weird if just one person, Cece, I guess, was running the entire thing without a lot of help. And I guess Cece had some help of Mona, sort of. Okay, so Reagan thinks it's someone who had a personal relationship with her, maybe a lover, but basically someone who worked with her, like the man in the dollhouse. Maybe Olivia thinks it might be Jason because it was the De Laurentiis plot. Possibly. I mean, really, at this point, it could be so many people. It could be someone we don't even know, like this random family member who we don't know. Who knows? So Noodles thinks that Charlotte was being held captive in the dollhouse. Maybe this supervillain, big bad person was in control. Kristen's asking if I think they'll start getting messages from Big Bad. I mean, I hope not, because here we go again. Like, we've already been through all of that. We've already done the texting from A. And I thought that was honestly a really clever part of the show, and I did really like that. But to do that again, kind of silly. I don't know. So Mark is asking, what was Sarah's motive? The liar said in the episode that she was acting like Cece's hostage in court, but they were actually planning to torture them all along. But why? You know, I've never been able to figure out anything related to Sarah Harvey. I don't understand. I don't understand how she kind of just popped up a few months ago, and then she was like a huge character. And I don't think she's been explained very well. Terrence is bringing up Bethany. To me, that's another person who's been totally dropped. And I don't understand really what they're doing with her, or if Sarah is her. I have no idea because they're really not telling us in these episodes. So Francois says we never saw Charlotte leave the hospital. We didn't see her at Allie's house, so maybe Allie's involved. Well, Ezra, I guess, saw her, so I don't know. Reese looks like Jason's twin. Gosh, I have kind of forgotten about Reese because there's so many characters in the show that like I forget. So Reagan says they are going to get messages. The one in the promo said, "I know what you did." I mean, I just think that's silly at this point that they're repeating so many things. I mean, if you want to have a bunch of seasons of a show, I see no problem in that. If you can come up with new content and if it's compelling, but if you're repeating the same things, you know, I just don't see why they're doing that. Are they out of ideas? Hi, Ashley. Thank you for being here. Cece and Sarah are lovers. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so Janice says the only two people who might have motives would be Mr. D or Jason, and Mona is too easy. Well, Mona's too easy, but who really knows? You know, they've made Jason look really suspicious before. I don't even know. I don't even know if he's supposed to be in the show this season. I have no idea. We haven't seen Mr. D at all, but we know that they want Mr. D to be the supervillain here. So hey, maybe, you know what? Have we thought about that? Have we thought about the fact that Mr. D killed Charlotte? Has anyone thought about that? Because you know how much they wanted to make us all hate him in the 6A finale. Wouldn't it make sense if as soon as she got out, he killed her? I mean, if he's that terrible of a person. Yeah, okay, I know some people say they read some spoilers, and some people don't like to hear those spoilers, so I guess we should probably not post them in the comments for those of you who don't like to hear possible spoilers, but that does bring up a good point, and I think, I'm not sure how to say your name. I'm Mr. HOD. But anyway, we don't really know from last night's episode what is up with Sarah's hands. To me, this was the first time I heard that they were had been burned. Earlier before the chat started, some people were saying that they knew why, or they had mentioned it before. And if you can tell me in, you know, what episode, that would be awesome, because I don't remember that. Like, I must have blanked out somewhere. But yeah, I mean, if not, if that hasn't been addressed before, what do you guys think caused her to have burned hands? Because I don't remember that at all. Millie, thank you for being here. Feels that they don't seem as stupid as before. Anything can happen. I like that they don't seem as stupid as before. I do like that. I think I've stated that in the last chat and in my recap video from last week. I love the fact that they are more mature. They can act more like their real ages. I do love that. But I feel like they've gotten older in a mature way, says Millie. Still, Emily is pretty messed up, or whatever is wrong with her. I'm hoping that it's maybe a something kind of disease that can be cured or something. I don't know. When the dollhouse caught fire and they all ran out. Okay, Tony, so that makes sense now. That is when Sarah burned her hands. Okay. They said last night her, yeah, I know they said her hands were burned, but I cannot figure out, K. Marie, like when this happened. And Mr. HOD is saying when Spencer diffused the bomb in the fire, she got electrocuted. Okay, so that's kind of making sense now. So Marge is saying maybe it's Bethany. Maybe she came back from the dead thanks to Mrs. Grunwald's twin and went to surgery to become a sir. Please, we've got to stop with that. Let's hope not. We can't have any more of that. That's too much like the Cece storyline. So, I mean, I'm not saying they wouldn't go there, but really? So Reagan says, in a perfect world, Uber A is someone from season 1, and we get answers to tying up old things like the Nat Club, which, hello, they've dropped that, and just unanswered questions in general, but she doubts it. Absolutely. That would be wonderful. Last night I started thinking, I'm just going to be honest, I don't know if I can keep watching the show because it's really ridiculous to me, and I know all of you don't feel that way, but I'm not a negative person, and when I have to do videos on the show, I feel like, man, I just have to say negative things because I'm going to be honest, and I don't know if I want to keep watching because it's, to me, crap. But at the same time, I don't want to, like, stop watching. I feel like as soon as I stop watching it, it'll get really good because I've given up on a couple of shows in the past, and then they became good. Like, I gave up on Dexter, and then apparently it became awesome. Well, it did become awesome. I had to go back and watch all of it. So, I don't know. Everyone wants to talk about Spaleb, which is the Spencer and Caleb thing that, not sure if it's a thing, but it looks like it's a thing. And I am really, that's another reason that I just, like, Are you like, have they run out of ideas for the show? Because it's so silly to me that these two would be together. And I just feel like, you know, I understand that Hannah is engaged and time has moved on, but I can't imagine one of my good friends from high school, you know, and I was friends with her boyfriend too. And then after we go to college, I'm like, yeah, well, you know, since you're engaged, I'm dating your ex-boyfriend who you dated for a long time and used to live with and everything, or whatever, hooked up with. I just feel like I'm not that person's friend if I do that. And obviously, it seems like, you know, Hannah and Spencer are still friends. So honestly, I feel like it's really crappy on Spencer's part if she is going to go down this road, which it looks like she's going to do. And I would probably not be her friend anymore if I were Hannah. I think that's so silly. I do think Jordan, Stephanie's saying that Jordan's cute. I think he's the best new guy. I wasn't really impressed with Arya's man, and maybe we're not supposed to be because I still feel like she'll get back with Ezra. That's another reason I keep watching. Jordan was really cute, you know, but who knows if that's going to last either. Shonda Rhimes kills Marlene all the time. She slays her. Yeah, I see that Melissa is going to be back next week. Thanks, Millie. So I don't know what she's going to do. She's always so mysterious. So, like, who knows? Yeah, Spencer and Caleb, we're just talking about that. Hopefully you caught that because I just went on a rant about that. Hopefully everyone heard that. So Brandy says, thought about Spencer and Caleb had a weird relationship. I think it sucks. Spencer would possibly date her friend's ex, but always felt that they were way too close. Yeah, I mean, they've been close in the past, but you just don't do that. Like, I don't care if Hannah was married to this other guy. Like, you don't do that. I just feel like that's ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, Liam is Arya's new guy. He was fine. He seems like a nice guy, but I just wasn't like, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, he's amazing, you know. But we just met him and we just met Jordan, so we don't really know much about him, so who knows. Connor's asking if anyone is suspicious of Caleb. I've been suspicious of him a ton of times through the years. Very strange that he was casually in Spain at the same time Spencer was. Was he following her? I don't know. But yeah, right. He could have hacked into her computer. Who knows? Because he can definitely do that. I don't know what the motive would be for him to do that. Ralia thinks that Liam is super ugly. He's kind of nerdy, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think he was amazing. Reagan thinks Jordan may be cuter than Arya's new fling, but she likes Arya's fling's personality better. Jordan rubs her the wrong way, probably because he's too preppy. Jordan, I could see, he's like one of those really good looking people who has a hidden agenda or who has like another girlfriend or like several other girlfriends. Like he's just almost to the point, like he seems too good to be true, to be honest. And I could see him having like 16 other women or something. I know, I keep watching Stephanie because I still hope like Arya and Ezra will get back together. I mean, they still seem good together, even though he's having like a freaking breakdown, you know? Millie's talking about the final scene with the Sir person. So was it Jessica De Laurentiis' grave? Because it looked like a freshly dug grave. I thought it was Charlotte's grave. I don't know. But can we please talk about how strange it was that Arya thought Hannah was throwing up when it was Emily? Yeah, I mean, they have like alluded to the fact that Arya has some kind of split personality, problems remembering things. I don't know if that means anything or if they're just playing with us. I have no idea. The dinner scene with the prayer from Allie was really awkward. I really don't know why she needed Caleb and Jordan to meet and all that stuff. Okay, so apparently it was Mrs. De Laurentiis' grave. Then my question is, why was it a brand new grave? Because hasn't she been dead for like 6 years or something? I need to rewatch that again because I don't understand. I'm wondering if the show ended with Arya and Ezra being all of the viewers would praise and clap at Marlene. Yeah, I mean, I would love that, but since they're throwing that out there at us right now, I think that's got like a 5% chance of happening. Allison's kind of being weird. She is kind of being weird. I mean, it looks like she's going to tell Lorenzo that Arya possibly killed Charlotte, or Arya and Ezra killed Charlotte. Yeah. So Olivia's saying it was the grave next to Mrs. De Laurentiis. So I'm pretty sure that it was that fresh grave of Charlotte's. I could be wrong, but I've watched it a couple times, but I can watch it again. Cece made out with her brother, so Marlene, in Marlene's world, it would be okay to date your boyfriend's ex, says Marge. Yeah, and her sick mind, I guess that is so mean. Anyway, I guess that's okay. Yeah, Allie was being weird, but I think that they make these characters act strange to try to make us think that they're up to no good when they're really just, how many times have you thought that everyone on this show was involved, but it's not done the right way. All right. Watch How to Get Away with Murder. Then you will understand, if you haven't watched it, how you can make people seem suspicious in a very clever way. That's not happening on this show. Okay. Sorry, not sorry. Just got to throw it out there. Francois says, can I say I love Spencer's new role? I know it's minor, but it suits her and would vote for Mrs. Hastings for the Senate. I do think that makes complete sense. Mrs. Hastings for Senate, and Spencer being involved in government, I think makes sense. So I'm on board with that. Kristen says, really think that Allison had something to do with Charlotte's murder. Either she did it or set up her murder. Maybe even had Jason's help or Mona's. Well, gosh, I mean, if that's true, she's like the worst person in the world, because she was totally acting like, oh, I love you, I forgive you, I want to have a party for you when you come home. Like, if she had her killed, or if she killed her, like, how terrible are you? I know that Cece did a lot of bad things, but please, that doesn't make you any better for killing her. Tony says, feel like Jordan might be more into Mrs. Marin than Hannah. Mrs. Marin is turning into Mrs. D now that she's in control and running things. Yeah, I do feel like, and I don't know this actor who plays Jordan, he seemed a lot older than Hannah. He may not be, but he just seemed really mature and older, which sometimes, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that, because people marry people who are older than them all the time. It seemed to me that way, that he was like, right, like he could date her mom or something. You don't really care about Spencer and Caleb dating. You're like the one person, Mr. HOD, who doesn't care. That's okay though. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So Mark says, Marlene said Cece and Jason would have a moment in 6B to make their relationship seem less weird, but she's dead now. Well, I don't see that happening unless they do some kind of dream logic flashback. Maybe he visited her in the hospital. I don't know. Samuel says maybe the new A was helping Charlotte in the dollhouse. Yeah, that's what a lot of you guys think, and I could definitely agree with that, because in what world? I mean, that's not a real world. PLL is not a real world, but Charlotte could not be doing all that stuff by herself in that massive dollhouse. Hi, Megan. Thank you for being here. Noodles is asking what made Allison so certain one of her friends did it. She just thinks Aria is being shady. I mean, they kept having those conversations about where Aria was, and Aria didn't come to the dinner. I don't know. Megan ships Spencer and Caleb. You're just going to have to leave the chat right now. No, I'm joking. It's fine. So Marge says Caleb makes so much sense. Remember when he said to Spencer, what's wrong with Cancun? You got to try it in season 5. Why, or when did he go to Cancun? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I would love if Caleb was whatever you want to call it, the big villain, because I've suspected him before, but who knows? Mark thinks that Emily is probably Uber A. That's how Cece spent so much money on the dollhouse, and that's why Emily has no money. Well, actually, Emily deducted all of her money to pay for a hitman to kill Charlotte, so that is why she was broke. She just didn't know that they were going to take all her cash. That's what happened. Megan thinks that Ezra killed Charlotte. I have to disagree with you, because I think that's just way too simple, and they're throwing that out there to us right now, and that's what they want us to believe, and we know how this show works, because everything they tell us never happens. So funny how Allie just wanted to protect Cece, like literally after she revealed herself. Well, I think she was kind of feeling bad for her like a few months ago, right? I feel like that. I feel like she always felt sorry for her. Francois says, what makes Allie so suspicious of the girls? It's weird. She has no real reason. I think we just kind of talked about that. And the only thing that I can think of is just the fact that she thought Aria was being shady, and Aria didn't show up for the dinner. And there was just some conversations there where they didn't understand where Aria was the night that Charlotte was murdered. I don't know. Yes, Melissa will be back next week. I like Melissa, I like the actress. Anyway, she's very shady AF, right? Exactly. Who knows? I don't think she killed anybody, but who knows? Megan says she knew Emily wasn't on some kind of pill addiction. So yeah, she's probably taking pills to deal with whatever is up with her medically. I don't know what's up with her. I have no idea. I don't think any of us know what is up with her. Spencer dated Melissa's fiance, so not surprised if there's something between Spencer and Caleb, says Kay. That's a good point. We all know that that happened. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Very weird. Tara says, why was Sarah wearing the veil at the funeral? I don't think she's blind. No. Is she Black Widow? I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember what they wanted her to be. Maybe Marlene said it on Twitter or something. I don't know. What happened to Lucas, Jenna, and Noel? Janice, I don't know. We should make a list of the people we haven't seen in like 17 years or 17 months or whatever, because I have no idea where these people are. I would assume that some of them are just busy in their real lives doing other things. But it's weird when they don't explain, like, you know how some shows will just kill somebody off because the actor or the actress has like another project. So at least they give the fans some closure, like, oh, okay, Noel died because this person needed to go off and work on another project. Okay. So I don't know. Yeah, Noodle said they said she was Red Coat and Black Widow. That's right. I thought the Black Widow thing kind of rang a bell. So that's what Sarah Harvey is, because I remember people being really upset that she was both big people and no one understood. So Chloe says that Lucas is back. Good. Okay. And Deja says the same thing. I never read the synopsis for the episode. I don't read them just because I kind of like to be surprised, but that's totally fine to know that he's coming back. I don't know what his purpose is in all of this, but yeah, Ralia says Sarah is Redcoat and Black Widow, sadly. Yes, I don't know. Arya was invited, Mr. HOD. I'm not really sure what you want me to call you, but she was invited to the dinner. She had an excuse or something. I can't remember what that was. Is Jenna coming back in 6B? I haven't heard, but like I said, I don't read those the synopsis. Millie is asking about Mike. No clue. Thinking that Emily has diabetes. Well, usually you can do that kind of treatment from home, but maybe, usually people who have that can give themselves shots at home. You don't have to go to the hospital, but maybe it's a very advanced form or something. I'm not sure. How would I feel if Lucas turned out to be the big bad? Brandy, I don't know. I mean, however if they explained it in a way that made sense, I would be okay with it, because we know Lucas. We've suspected him before. That wouldn't make me upset at all. What would bother me is kind of the way that the Cece stuff played out. If it ends up being like the rumor that it's someone's relative that we've never seen, that's really ridiculous. Or if it's someone with a very minor role or someone we just meet and just know for a couple of episodes. I don't know. Noodles thinks that Marlene's going to bring back all the characters just to give us more people to suspect this season. Probably. Francois thinks thinks that she has like an STD, I guess, sexually transmitted infection / disease. I don't know. Where did that come from? Maybe that's what it is. Never even thought about that. That must be a not so good one. Chloe says, don't know where, but saw somewhere that she was bringing back all the old characters except Noel. Honestly, as this show reaches the end, whenever that is, I would like for everyone to come back and just kind of close out their storyline. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think that would be awesome, because why not? Instead of just having people up in the air. Reagan says Julian Morris said he will be back by the end of the series, and one of the episodes titled in 6B is Ren's famous quote, "We all come with baggage," or something like that. Okay, I happened to read something that Marlene was talking to someone about Julian and saying that he was super busy working on other things in his real life. So she had said like he won't be in this season. I didn't know if she said he wouldn't be in 6B at all or if he just wouldn't be in it a lot. Why wasn't the rest of Charlotte's family at her funeral? Asked Noodles. I don't know, because I don't think we've seen Mr. D at all, have we? In 6B. Kristen's saying, do I think the writers never planned A and just wrote it as they went? Yeah, absolutely. Because I've read articles that, before the Crazy CC finale, I would read a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff that Marlene said And she said, like, if they made Ezra seem like A, because a lot of the fans were like asking or hoping that he was involved, and so they wrote a storyline about that. And I think they did the same thing like for Toby. I don't think that they knew that Cece was going to be A all along, because if they did, they would have set it up so that we didn't have the plot holes. You know, they would have put things in place so you could go back and like, especially since they had to reshoot stuff that was in the show before. They could have just used the actual old clips, but they had to reshoot it in present time. So would love it. Shalisa says, if Allie was big bad, like she was the one who really killed Charlotte, I would love it. Yeah. Faith is asking about Spela, but you missed my rant earlier. I hate it. I think it's a really bad thing for Spencer to do and not what a friend would do. Okay. Who do I think A was before Cece was revealed? I don't know. I mean, they swear that, I mean, I thought it might possibly be Ren, but they swear that they never planned for him to be it. But Julian actually said in an interview that he thought that he was A. So, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that they had it all planned out to be Ren, and then those Reddit things leaked that said it was Ren and they had to rewrite it as Cece. I'm not really even sure if they knew, to be honest. I think they kind of just throw some stuff together as they go. At this point, I don't even know if they know who Big Bad is, to be honest. I could just see them kind of, you know, stringing us along, and they'll figure it out by season 7. Ren made, you know, he would have made sense. He wasn't my top choice, but there were so many things you could look back on and connect the dots. And I think fans would have accepted that so much better, even though people wanted Ezra, or people wanted one of the girls, or Ezria. I don't think she would have ever had that type of backlash, even if, you know, he was supposed to be A and the Reddit spoilers upset them and they were like, we can't go with this, but they still went with it. I don't think people would have been like, oh my God, people spoiled it, and I hate the fact that it's Ren, you know. But we can't go back and change that. But Brandy always thought Ren had something to do with it, and still do. Way Too Shady did not have something to do with A. Yeah, he was always really shady, and there's just so many things that he did that connected him. And Mr. HOD is saying we won't find out who the big bad is until the end of the season 7, which they will keep stringing us along with red herrings and fake people who are never going to be the main villain until then. Yes. I don't know why Caleb is living with Spencer Francois. I mean, apparently they have like a very deep relationship now in this 5 years that we haven't seen all of them. So, yeah. I don't know. Okay. So Mark says Sarah Shepard needs to become a writer on the show. I agree. Sarah Shepard, as most of you know, is the author of Pretty Little Liars. And I have seen this as well. Based on her tweets, Marlene has left her completely in the dark on everything, which I don't know how that works, and I don't know how much input she has. I mean, obviously they have paid her probably a ton of money for the rights to her books, and I don't know if she was supposed to have input on what happens with the show, or if she wasn't, but she's still upset. So legally, I don't know, how that works. But I agree. I didn't read the books, but I read online a lot of the times to find out what happened in the books to see if it could possibly happen in the series. And I think I'd rather them go with what happened in the books. But again, I don't know all the details because I didn't read them. So Janice is saying, what if the big bad reveal is worse than Cece? Although can't see any reveal being worse than Cece. Well, I think it's a possibility if the big bad becomes or is someone who we've never met. Really, at that point, that's worse than Cece, because you can't even care about a villain you've never seen before, don't know, never heard of. Okay? Faith is saying Spencer and Caleb met in Madrid and they spent time together, and Caleb is working with Spencer. Yes, Melissa's coming back. Yeah, so I think that they had this time in Europe together and they got closer. It really sounded like that from this episode. So yeah, do we read anything to the fact that Hannah's fiance knows what happened, whereas Liam does not, says Francois? I read into that Liam and Arya aren't going to last. And I just feel like she's going to get back with Ezra. That's what I think. I think it's kind of a statement like Hannah felt really secure and comfortable with her fiance enough to tell him the bad stuff that had happened. And, Arya's like, I'm not at that place yet. And I just think that is saying, I don't know how long they've dated, but I'm just kind of thinking that that's not going to work out. Ashley wonders how Sarah Shepard feels about the way the show is going. I don't know. You have to wonder, like, if she was watching the CC reveal, and she was just like if her like jaw dropped to the ground like a lot of ours did, and she was like, wait, what has this woman done with my series? What is going on? Yeah, I don't want Liam and Arya to last. Francois, and you know, he may be a really nice guy. I don't have a problem with him. I just met him. He seemed fine, but I don't know. I guess my favorite ship on the show has always been Ezria. And I know he's freaking crazy, but I think he'll get better. I have faith in him. And I really think they'll be back together. I really do. Yeah, Ezra's super dark right now, Noodles. But, you know, it's not like he's dark because he's having a mental breakdown. He had some crazy crap go down for him. I mean, if your significant other was murdered, like on a mission type trip, you would probably be freaking out too. I'm not saying he should be freaking out to the point of murdering someone. I don't think he did murder anyone, but I mean, yeah, he's not in a good place, and it would be hard for a lot of people to be in a good place if they went through that kind of stuff. Noodle says that Sarah Shepard said she loved the reveal, but they probably paid her to say that. Exactly. Or she said she figured if she didn't say that, that they would quit, you know, that they would be mad at her or something, because it's her series, you know. She probably couldn't say she hated it. Ralia says to read the books. I know, I need some free time to do that, because I used to read a ton. Now I spend all my time watching TV series and trying to figure out, you know, who the bad guy is and all these different shows. But reading is super fun and I miss it. Yes, Faith, it would be wonderful if one of the liars is A. That would be awesome. So we have about 5 minutes left, because for now we're just going to keep these chats at 45 minutes unless it gets really juicy and we can, you know, have, you know, I know we have a lot to talk about, but I think 45 minutes is kind of a good timeline for now. So go ahead and get your comments in. I'll still be answering those and commenting on your comments. Asking what my fave season was, Millie. Well, for me, it was when, and I don't remember the number, but I loved all of the hype around Ezra being A. I really bought into that and I really believed them. So it was pretty let down when he was, you know, when it was all fake, but I love that because he is my dream A, to be honest. And I think the writers know that he is my dream. Not that he is my dream. A lot of people want him to be involved, or a lot of people want Arya and Ezra to be involved. Okay, I'm trying to, I know there's a lot of people I haven't responded to, so I'm trying to get to everyone. If I don't get to everyone, then I will get to you after this video is over. Just leave a comment on the video and I will get back to you that way. All right, so Ralia says that was season 4. So yes, the season with Ezra, possibly, but not really being A, was definitely my favorite. Thank you. Stephanie says Marlene can only redeem herself for the CC reveal if one of the girls is the new big bad and really has been involved all along. Like, I would be so happy. And that's why I want to have hope that possibly something good can come out of the ending of this entire series. So I would love that. Megan says a lot of people don't believe that Marlene changed A from Ren to Cece, but then why do we have a 2-week break right before 6:10? I mean, you know, it's kind of compelling, because at the time when all of these Reddit spoilers came out, I even did a video about the Reddit spoilers and they were very in depth. And Marlene was even making she was throwing shade at this person on her Instagram. I can't remember exactly what she posted, but you could tell she was definitely posting to the Reddit person. So a lot of people thought, for sure, the Reddit spoilers were true. And especially after the person ended up being Cece and it didn't make sense. And then everyone was like, okay, she scrambled to get it together. I guess we will never really know, because of course she's saying, you know, this was not the case. We had Cece planned all along. And I think that most of us know we can't trust her, because she said so many things that we could go back and prove weren't true. So it's not just it's not like I just disagree with her all the time. She's just said flat out lies on social media, or someone on her social media has. Maybe she could say someone was hacking it or posting as her and that wasn't her. So I really don't know if we'll ever know. I'm sorry, that was a real rambling statement there. So we have 2 minutes left. And I really thank all you guys for being here, because I've had a blast talking to you guys. So Sheena is just now here. Thank you for being here, Sheena. That's awesome. Mark is saying they should just reveal already that Dr. Rollins, who we didn't see in this episode, is uber A. There's no need for theories because it's common sense. The dumbest character will be the villain. Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel. And I think I mentioned this before, and some of you may not like it, but especially in my recap that I'm going to have up tomorrow, I am not into theorizing on this show anymore. Definitely for other shows, I'm 100% about it. But here, I think it's a waste of time because they don't really put a lot of, they don't really put a lot of work into it, in my opinion. I hope that they prove me wrong. But anyway, just wanted to say before it's time for me to go here, if you have not subscribed and you enjoy these chats and videos on Pretty Little Liars, please do that, because I have usually every Thursday I post my in-depth recap of the show, so that will go up tomorrow morning. And thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Will I do a day this season or stick to, I don't know what you're saying, Francois. I'm not really sure. 2 a day this season or stick to 1. I think what you're asking is how many live chats I'm going to be doing. So for this show, I'm just going to be doing the 1 live chat on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. And really quickly, even though this is off topic, How to Get Away with Murder or Quantico, I think How to Get Away with Murder is better, but Quantico is really good. So I'm going to go, and I know more of you had comments I didn't get to. I'm sorry, you have no idea how like they flip around. Yeah, I have a video up tomorrow, Francois, which is like my recap. So 2 PLL videos a week, pretty much, 1 chat, 1 video. But anyway, please leave a comment on this video. It comes up on my channel like in 5 minutes. If I missed your comment, it was not intentional. If I missed your question, they just start scrolling by quickly and I cannot go back up and find them. So during this live chat, so just leave me a message and I promise I will get back to you. Scream Queens comes back, someone told me, in June. But thank you guys so much for being here. I love you guys, and I will hopefully see you next week and definitely see you tomorrow with my new video. Bye, guys.